Undecided Option, Part 6, Nier Replicant, Mutable Record. No matter what revelations may have come, they needed to press on. In order to search for other survivors, Nier and Yona went deeper underground. Hand in hand, they continued down the passage. They went towards sounds they could hear. It was a new, different space. The angels were gone. The wall in front of them was made of glass. Beyond it was a great hole below they could look down into. The hole was full of debris: heads, arms, legs, female torsos, and red hair, Devola and Popola. A great number of parts of the twin androids piled up, discarded. Nier and Yona looked on in shock as they could hear the grinding of machines. A large, arm-like robot descended from above and crushed down the remains. Shards, rubbish, dust. What was once an android now danced as particles in the darkness between shafts of light. This is the end of the road for androids that sin. Nier and Yona turned around towards the voice behind them. It was Popola, standing alone. We were the overseers of the Gestalt project, but you know this, Nier. In your journey, you witnessed the Devola and Popola that suffered runaway processes. They could not carry out their duties. It was when Nier and his friends stormed the Shadow Lord's castle. Standing in their way were the beloved mayors of his village, Devola and Popola. In their confrontation, Devola fell. The leftover Popola succumbed to rage and went wild. That was the reason given for the extermination of the Devola and Popola android models. Our final command was to eliminate the remaining replicants. Nier put his hand to the sword at his back. Looking to Yona, he told her to run. I'm sorry, Ms. Popola, but I am different from you. Nier unsheathed his blade. In a fraction of a second, the space between them disappeared. The tip of his blade drew a line through the air. Popola deflected the attack off her staff with a ringing clash. Why did it have to come to this, thought Nier. We are not vessels for the Gestalts. We are people with hearts. If you take what we treasure, we cannot let it pass without feeling. What I say now is no different for humans. And so we have a mountain of dead in my village. If being sinless means I lose Yona, then I will not regret committing any sin. Every sin. Popola danced as she evaded Nier's attacks. She began singing a song. No, it was a chant for a spell. Countless magic thorns thrust up out of the ground. Nier thought, if Popola can use magic, it will be difficult to fight her and protect Yona. Yona! Nier decided to escape with her. He took one moment to look for her, and, in that moment, he saw a spear of magic flying towards him. His vision filled with red, but there was no pain. At his chest, Yona wavered and fell, her heart pierced through. Her reddened eyes closed, and she whispered, I'm sorry, Oni-chan. I love you. Yona, Yona, Yona. Nier screamed her name again and again, but Yona did not open her eyes. Nier patted her cheeks and shook her shoulders. The tears would not come. He was overwhelmed with countless emotions, but from among them he latched onto one: hatred. Nier raised his bloody face and through red-tinged eyes glared at Popola. Nier, holding Yona in one arm, pointed his sword tip at Popola. I'm sure you understand, Nier. She died protecting you. Silence, Nier screamed. Of course I know it. Don't dare tell me that. But Popola continued on mercilessly. That girl, she chose death. It's all my fault. He remembered her words. He was unable to look her in the face when she said it, but if he did, he would have seen her in pain. Looking at her now, she smiled, freed from her guilt and regret. I am to blame. I killed Yona. I killed her with the weight of the guilt. He laughed at the thought of it. Popola's magic bullets rained down on Nier. But Nier, pierced many times over, nevertheless kicked off the ground, straight towards Popola. His blade flashed in the air like a beam of light. The sword pierced Popola's chest. "You may be the true Shadow Lord." Popola's words echoed into silence. Nier took his sword and used it to break the glass wall. He dropped Popola's body along with the broken glass into the pit. She became one of the many discarded twins. The machine sounded its grinding noise. The robot arm came down and crushed the woman. Finally, they were alone together. Nier held the dead body of Yona. She was still warm, and memories flowed through him. Her voice crying, "Oni-chan, Oni-chan." Her smile. The nights when her cough kept her up, and when she fell asleep with her hand in his. That warmth. Her poor cooking. Even that was precious. Yona was not here. Nothing remained. There was no world to destroy. The Shadow Lord's castle. This quiet room where the thick curtains hung. The small bed by the windows. Here, the Shadow Lord once lived with Yona. Nier stood there by himself, holding Yona's body. By himself. He was truly alone now. The presence of humans, of androids, was nowhere to be felt. Devola and Popola left him in this dead world. They wanted him to witness the consequences of his sin. That was why they didn't kill him, Nier thought. Nier slowly took steps to the bed and lay Yona down. A chill wind blew. The curtain swayed, and beams of light entered the dark room. Outside, ash-like snow fell. Remember, the Shadow Lord's sister chose death for herself. Right in front of him, she opened the curtains and faded into the light. He was just a boy who wanted the power to protect his sister. He fought over 1,000 years in solitude. Then he became the Shadow Lord. He simply sought the means to save his sister. He took his sister's intended vessel. He took Yona from Nier and gave the body to his sister. But she had had enough. If it meant she had to steal another's body, she did not wish to live. So, "I'm sorry, Oni-chan. I love you." The Shadow Lord's sister. Yona. My sister. The kind girl did not wish for any sacrifice for herself. He only wanted to protect her. Perhaps that was a mistake. In the end, I might be the same as the Shadow Lord, the same as the one I hated so much. Nier closed his eyes. In a world without Yona, the light pained him. Soon, the spark behind his closed eyelids faded. The light extinguished. I opened my eyes. In front of me was the boy with my face, the Shadow Lord. "You remembered." The boy spoke. Yes, I now remembered. In the antenna, I saw my memories. My name is Nier. And this kind boy who guided me in finding my memory after I awoke in the darkness, he was the one I had called the Shadow Lord. I had hated the Shadow Lord. But now that feeling was gone. To forgive or to hate, we were beyond that, Gestalt and replicant. We were both sides of a mirror.